Hi, today we're going to talk about Kant. So, core to Kant's philosophy is the idea of a transcendental concept. To understand what a transcendental concept is, first we need to understand two of Kant's primary concepts of a priori and a posteriori. So, a priori is something like that is completely rationalist. It is something like what Descartes did in terms of reasoning through everything. uh, it's this approach that Leibniz took and many other Descartesian philosophers took. And then there's a posteriori, which is essentially learning or gaining stuff through experiences, or in fact, it's the extreme Humerian approach that everything is all reality is experiences and nothing else. So, as we can see, Kant has been greatly influenced both by people like Leibniz and people like um, Hume. Um, so, going into this, Kant did believe in God, first of all. He had this idea of a overarching God kind of figure, something like what Locke believed in. Uh, so in all this, explaining free will essentially became something again like what Locke did in terms of having a compatibilist approach, in that he Kant reimagined the free will idea in terms of he was primarily a determinist, but he thought of will as passion, as acts of passion. Uh, so that's how he explained being deterministic, but also having free will. Then there are things known as transcendental analytics, which are essentially sort of kinds of reasoning to gain practical and theoretical knowledge. So, practical is something that is closer again to empirical knowledge, but it's done prior to any experience, really. So, it's that's why it's categorized as a priori, and theoretical is purely rationalist, which is something again like what Descartes did. Now, Kant had this unique approach on self consciousness, in that he called self consciousness transcendental itself. He sort of contradicted Berkeley in that he believed he did not believe in empirical apperception, but believed in Descartes' I thought, and therefore I thought would be integrated with empiricism later on to get the entire version of self consciousness. So all of Descartes' conclusions are rejected, but his premise is accepted under Kant. Um, Now, Kant believed in this sort of method of proving things called antimonies, wherein he would take two opposing things, one from the realm of a rationalist and one from the realm of empirical or empiricist, and he would sort of disprove both of them and sort of explain how it is beyond human beings' realm or sort of scope to talk about these things, and therefore he concludes in some sense that we should really not talk about those things. Another interesting thing I found about Kant was he was the first one to talk about aesthetic in general. Not first one, but like one of the first one I read about. Who talk about aesthetic in terms of something that could be universally shared, and I'm quoting right now, could be universally shared in the particular internal relationship between imagination and understanding. What's important over here is the two words imagination and understanding, because Kant characterizes the human mind in terms of three primary things: understanding, reason, and senses, which is how his entire philosophy of being a rationalist while also having empirical um, experiences makes sense. Um, Then finally there's this concept of space time. Again, Kant views space time as a antimony, and he sort of combines the definitions of Newton and Hume in that, and Leibniz for the matter, in that saying that that space time is a pattern which senses mold these experiences of space time, and that is how he ends up not contradicting Newton, Hume, or Leibniz, but sort of explaining all of them. Again, it's this concept of antimonies, which he sort of explains away by talking about extremes which are impossible and therefore not in the scope of human realm. This was Kant's philosophy, in that he tried to reimagine the entire world as Galileo once did. Thank you.